What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday night to you. I'm up because I had my Saturday Sabbath nap, catch out my live stream. I am talking about a number of different topics. We got on that black delineation, which is a trigger for some people. I understand that, but you know, again, you got to understand our position too. But anyways, and it's not a supremacist position. It's coming from a cultural preservation and a more controlling the narrative and projections of Black people perspective. So there's some clear cases for why we as foundational Black Americans are deciding to delineate ourselves from each other. And you can kind of jump into a number of Black thought tanks. And to be honest with you, this one, I don't like to be in any kind of thought tank or bandwagon of ignorance, but when it comes to the rationality of this thinking, I do agree with it. And even though I do agree with Black delineation, I don't think that that is a separatist position at all, because I think that we all should be striving to get along with each other, no matter what our backgrounds are or what our cultures are. We should be striving to get along with each other. So for those of you who can clearly comprehend, you understand what my conversations are about. We always have those passionately ignorant people, right? That can't comprehend. They don't listen to comprehend. They don't read to comprehend. So they're always going to chime in with their emotion and yell, racist. It's so funny. The very people that was like, everything isn't racist, now they're screaming racism. Insane. But, anyways, I did not want to go down the rabbit hole with Candace Owens about Kamala Harris's identity, because for me, it was very cut and dry, right? She is a product of immigrants, right? And so she's not a foundational Black American. And so that is what makes her not Black to me, right? And so I didn't really care about the rabbit hole that Candace has been going down, because again, we're in delineation movement with FBA, so it's just like, okay, you know, she's not Black cut and dry because she's a product of Black, or she's a product of something that's not even associated with our heritage and our lineage. So it was pretty cut and dry, like I said. But at the same time, I've tuned in to different bloggers and people, and even Candace's show just for a couple of minutes just to see what she's talking about on this. And it's just like, it wasn't really that interesting for me, because it's like, I understand these Jamaican rabbit holes that you're going through, but Jamaicans are not Black. We've already established that. Many Jamaicans established that. So, it's like, for me, it's just, it gets a little boring when I've already made up my mind about something. You know what I mean? I don't need to see receipts. But she was talking about how she actually spoke with Kamala Harris's uncle. And there's a couple of things that was very notable to me about this conversation that I think there's some maybe broader context to entertain, as well as you're going down this rabbit hole with Candace that I refuse to do.
Like, this is what he was told, that they had 3 children before Vioris. And
okay, so let me go back. Another shout out to Liberal High Mind. I caught this, assessment of this, you know, Nancy Drew investigation from Candace Owens from Liberal Hive Mind.
In this book, in the Miss Iris that Donald J. Harris is referring to in his piece, rather, who he says is Iris Nay Finnegan. Again, very strange, because Iris should have never.
Now, number one, I want to make something very notable and clear, right? And if you listen to my live stream earlier, I'm going to say some things that kind of trigger on this point, and I've said it before. Kamala Harris has African descent features. There is no doubt that she comes from a African descent people as well. You can look at her hair texture, you can look at her features. To me, there's no doubt that she does have some African descent in her. That's just very, I'm looking at the baby picture. I'm looking at her, like, Kamala looks like my cousin Sean. Kamala, same complexion. My cousin Sean, she's Irish and black, but she has freckles. But she looks just like my cousin Sean. That little college picture with the short hair that they show of her looked just like my cousin Sean because she had her hair cut like that for her high school picture. And that's just to say, even with that, you can tell that even with biracial people, you can still grab the African features, right, or the African descent feature. So not to take her Africanness away from her or her African descent away from her, because she definitely has it.
Ever been Nay Finnegan. Finnegan was her married name. And he said, I can't answer that. I don't know that name. I want to be very clear. He has a relationship with Donald. He is close with Donald. They grew up together. He considers Donald his full brother. He has no idea who Miss Iris Finnegan is.
Now, I want to make it very clear that, Donald Harris and this guy that she's saying that she spoke with, they are half brothers, right? And if anybody understands the dynamic of half siblings, right, it is very possible that the younger siblings will have absolutely no idea who the older half siblings, other half, like their parent side is. They don't get exposed to each other like that. This is not uncommon for half siblings, one of the siblings, whoever the mother is, for them to know people that the other half doesn't know because they're not, they have a whole other side, they have a whole different mother, right? And so when you think about the modern day half siblings, a lot of them don't know the people that are associated with the mom of their sibling. They just don't. And vice versa. A lot of times they could grow up in the same house, right? The kid could go off to visit their other family, right? The other sibling will have like zero like interaction with those people. So it's very, very, very possible that he didn't know Donald Harris's mother's side of the family or anything about her people.
This is Donald's brother that we're talking about. So I said, okay, that's of course of some interest to me. I asked him why it is that he's even then mentioned.
Oh, political commercial. And this is just fair usage, but I want to put some broader context to her inquiry because some of the stuff she's trying to make a big deal, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Iris, and he told me that he wanted to clarify something which was of most importance to me. He wanted me to know that before Vioris and Oscar Harris got married, Oscar Harris already had 3 children.
So okay? They were halves.
One of them being Donald. Now, to be clear, he is younger than Donald, a lot younger than Donald, so he wouldn't know much about if there was some family secret. He would not be aware of it. But
no, because he's a younger brother, right? You're talking about at this point when Oscar Harris, this guy, he when he remarries this guy's mom, right? He already had kids, right? And we don't know how old those kids were before they got together. We don't even know the age gap between this guy and Donald Harris.
But to the best of his knowledge, like this is what he was told that. And I asked him, quite frankly, if he knew or heard of Beryl. He told me he does not know Beryl. Instant red flag to me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how do you not know? If you have a half sibling that you are close to and have been close to your whole life, how do you not know who their mom is? He said, I don't.
Very easy. Like, why are we making this like, I mean, I know she's trying to build the suspense and the suspicion around this, but it's very, very easy for a younger half sibling to absolutely have no connection, no relationship to their older siblings, people on their mom's side. It is very easy. It's very easy. It happens all the time. I mean, a lot of times when you're dealing with half siblings, you're not dealing with like a blended family, like everybody on this baby mom and this baby mama, they all together. No, you're not. That's not how that works. When you're dealing with halves, it's like, okay, going on to see your mama and her people, right? While you stay with your mama, and her people, right? It's very, that is very explainable.
Don't know who his mother is. You don't know who Donald Harris's mom is.
Apparently, allegedly, the woman photographed with Kamala Harris in that picture might not even be her actual great-grandmother.
See, I actually think that might be her actual grandmother. I would love to see a picture of this person that they're talking about. Excuse me. And if they look more biracial in any degree than Kamala Harris's dad, because you look at Kamala Harris's dad and you see ambiguity, but you also do see some level of African feature, right? So, I think that, this rabbit hole that, Candace got people going down, to prove that Kamala Harris is not black. First of all, we've already established she's not black because she's an immigrant. And black really is synonymous with foundational black Americans, freemen, right? But off of that, I feel like she's trying to make this just a rabbit hole, and it's going to end up being a dead end. I think it's going to end up being a dead end because, I feel like this is not building up to anything. It's not building up to anything juicy in terms of revelations. Yeah, she definitely has been playing the race card. She's allowed the Democratic Party to leverage her race. But this whole rabbit hole of her not being black, it's like, we know she's not black because she's not a foundational. She's a product of immigrants. You know what I mean? So they don't have the same cultural, nationality, if you will, as black Americans. So this is what makes Kamala not black to me, right? And she, like I said, she's welcome to be culturally black, which so many people kind of deem themselves ours, but ethnically, heritage wise, she's not a foundational black American. But I think, in terms of what Candace is trying to prove in terms of her, you know, I think this is a rabbit hole. This is just such a rabbit hole. When I heard, I'm like, this is her half brother. It's like some of these things that she's saying is just, y'all be down this rabbit hole. But, some of the stuff she's trying to set up to add this mystery is just absurd to me at this point. But anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you on the next one. Maybe I will do a live stream tomorrow and kind of hit back on this topic if I so desire to go down this rabbit hole and actually look at what she's talking about. I don't really care about this rabbit hole that Candace is going down, and I really do think that it's a futile rabbit hole. And, people are itching for the juiciness, but a lot of these people don't even know what a black person is. I really feel like, the people who are tuned in to this rabbit hole, they have identity issues. They are non-black people or even black people who don't even understand who we are heritage-wise and culturally, you know, because, for real foundational black Americans, we look at Kamala Harris's ancestry, her heritage, and we see that she's not one of us. So full stop, she's not black, right? But, Candace is trying to prove some narrative of her black or her, if she's trying to prove a narrative about Kamala Harris's Africanness, it is undeniable that she is Caucasian, mostly in her ethnicity, but she definitely has some African ancestry. You can look at that woman, you can look at her father and tell that she's had some African ancestry. And I do believe that this Grandma Barrel person who is on Donald Harris's side or whatever, this could be one of his melanated ancestors, right? This could be. I mean, it would make sense because even with her, being Indian, she definitely has a dominant Indian look. She definitely has some African features. She's pulling African descent from somewhere. And I think that is very notable. Now, if you want to say she dismissed her African descent, when she was running, right? Or she tried to be too ambiguous. I don't know. But this narrative for me is falling apart. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.